Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blind Date, the segment where I talk with other designers from around the world about design. And in this episode, we have Femke van Schoonhoven. Damn, I hope I pronounced her name right. And Femke, I knew her for years online, but we never actually had a conversation before this episode, which is great conversation. Femke tells us how she got her first job in product design in Uber, and that's a really great conversation. By the way, just a reminder, this is now a podcast, so if you rather listen to this on your favorite podcasting app, check the link in the description and follow or subscribe to the podcast, or just watch this funny, insightful conversation with Femke. Enjoy. What's up, Femke? It's good to finally meet you, kind of like face to face, at least real time.
Hey.
Yeah. So welcome to, this is a new segment on my show, which is actually also a podcast. I think it's going to be called Blind Date, which is, I think it's
Ooh,
appropriate. We never actually like kind of met each other like in person this way.
I
But
like
just,
this idea.
I want to give a little bit of context about our relationship. I kind of did a little digging in my inbox, just like right now, and I see that we're friends for like over 4 years.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, no way.
yeah,
Really? Has it been that
yeah.
long?
So I think
Wow.
like the first interaction I think that I have documented is from based on the new school. So
Mm-hmm.
for people who don't know, like we used to have this blog, it still exists, called the New School. Um, and Femke actually reached out to us that she likes the content and you were reading it. I don't know if you took one of our classes there. But at some point later on, you actually wrote on the blog as well.
I did, I
Um,
did.
and then you actually introduced me to Charlie. You told me, I don't remember exactly how this happened, but maybe I told you that I want to start a YouTube channel. You were like, you should definitely check out Charlie. Um, and then I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I get to know you from Femke and blah, blah, blah. And I found this email today also from like 3 years ago. So that was cool. Um,
Such a small world. So cool,
yeah.
like bringing people together. I love it. It's and your YouTube channel has been so awesome. So many people that I meet within the design community like mention your channel and how great and how helpful it is. So you're doing
Really?
awesome
That's
work,
so
man. Yeah,
cool.
it's so cool.
Like everybody I know here in Israel, nobody knows it,
Really?
but
Wow,
yeah.
they're missing out.
So it's always fun to hear like people from other places that are like, oh, you know my channel. That's cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And then I have a bunch of emails from you from Atomic because I was using Atomic and you were writing the content for them, right? Or
Yeah, I was working there. I for 2.5 years, I think I worked there, helping out with marketing and design and communications. It was a very small startup, so I got to wear lots of hats, which was fun.
yeah,
But
it's
yeah, I
awesome.
kind of came to be known like Femke from Atomic,
Yeah, Clark from
doing
Envision
all of
type of thing. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Doing all of like the email communications and the videos. So I still today, like people will stumble across one of those tutorial videos and be like, I've heard your voice before on the atomic videos. So that's always so funny.
That's so cool. So I actually don't know what happened. Like after Atomic, you moved to Uber. That was the transition, or
Yeah.
you had something in between.
No, so I was working remotely for Atomic from Amsterdam. The company Atomic was based in New Zealand, which is where I'm originally from, if people have been wondering where this weird accent is from this whole time. So I was working remotely and I did that for a couple of years. And then, I felt like I needed a change, wanted to be mentored and have a team and learn from other people. So I started looking for something new. And then that's when I joined Uber here in Amsterdam, which was about a year and a half ago now. Time really flies.
So you were looking to transfer. You were looking to move to a bigger team so that you can learn. Why on Atomic you were like the only designer? What was the situation like over there?
Well, I was the only sort of international remote person. So the rest of the
Okay.
team was based in New Zealand, and most of them were based in an office together in Wellington. And so for me, it was kind of challenging because while I was awake, everyone else was asleep. So it was hard to kind of collaborate with my teammates and get some mentorship and learn from other people. So that's kind of what contributed to my decision of like, okay, I still feel really early in my career. I wanted to really make the most of that stage of my career by being with a team, learning more hands-on with people and getting mentorship. So yeah, that's why I eventually left.
Amazing. Okay, so I think this is great. This is honestly, this is what I really wanted to talk to you about, like using your work right now. And right now you're working in Uber, which is an amazing company in at least in terms of design culture, and like the design work that you're doing there. So I wanted to ask you like about making the move and talking about how you see that kind of as, I don't know if as a stepping stone in your career or making that choice. I'll let you know why I'm asking about this, because I've been freelancing for over 5 years now, and I think a lot of people, specifically in my YouTube and in the community, are always telling me, "Oh, I want to be a freelancer," and telling me a lot of things like they have this vision or like dream about being a freelancer. But I think that working before I freelanced, I worked also in a startup in a team, and I learned so much being a part of a team that I want to talk about that. I want to talk about like the importance of actually getting a job and talking, like working with other people so that you can learn. And maybe you can share a little bit. You've made an awesome video on your new YouTube channel. By the way, Femke has a new YouTube channel. Go subscribe. She needs to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Okay?
Oh, no pressure.
No pressure. So just pause this, go subscribe, and come back. So I want to, and you were talking about the interview process, and I want to talk a little bit more about what do you think it takes to get into an amazing company with a great design team. So let's start about like how you kind of made the decision to move into this type of a company and what took you to get there.
That's a great question. I think a lot of the time we idolize these big tech companies, right? Like it's kind of the dream for a lot of people, like, oh, if I could work at one of the Facebooks or whatever, how great would that be for my career? And so at the time, I wasn't really actively looking for something like that. In fact, at the time, I didn't even know that Uber had a design team in Amsterdam. So it was kind of just by chance of me getting out in the local design community, going to meetups, going to events, going to workshops, and just, networking here. And eventually I met Yella Prince, who is the design manager of the Uber design team here. And, we started talking and having conversations. And I mean, long story short, eventually he offered me a job, and that's how I started there, which I think kind of highlights how important it is to get out there in your local community and talk to people, have conversations with people, meet people. It's also good to do that online, and I do a lot of that online. I know you do a lot of that online, talking to people. But I think we often forget the importance of doing it locally as well, and getting to meet and network with people, in your local design community is also really important.
That's amazing advice. Also, I think that because I hear this a lot from other people who just went into an event, talked to people, and then got an offer or an interview or something, that I think a lot of people think that they need to look for a job online. Hey, let me see what positions are open or what listings are open. But actually, it's just like meeting people and getting to know them and building a relationship. Then maybe the offer comes as part of
because
getting to know
half
people.
of the time these big companies actually don't even advertise openings. They source through their networks, and so most of the time at Uber, we only half of the time actually put a listing online. The rest of the time it's more internal sourcing or asking people in our networks that we know. So if you don't know those people, then you're going to miss out and not get picked to potentially work at that company. So yeah, I just think it's really important to establish a bit of a presence and a bit of a, just be involved and active within your local community as well.
That's cool. So at your current role, you're doing product design, right?
Yes.
By the way, what do you work on? Like, what product are you working on?
Yeah, great question.
In the Amsterdam office.
So here in Amsterdam, we focus on money and payments. So anything in the apps, both like the rider, the driver, Eats as well, anything in those apps related to payments and money. So that could be things like
the whole checkout process.
Yeah, the whole checkout process, like adding a new payment method, removing a payment method, also how you actually pay for your ride or your food, whatever, one of the big things we support here is cash. So in a lot of markets, you can actually pay for your Uber ride with cash, which a lot of people don't know because we don't have it in the US and it's not very common in Europe either. But in a lot of emerging markets, Latin America, Africa, you can actually pay for your ride or your food with cash. And so here in Amsterdam, we design and build that whole cash experience. And how do you actually pay the driver, things like that. So that's a really fun part of the product because it's kind of this intersection of the digital and the physical, like how do you facilitate a physical exchange of money via a digital experience? Like that's pretty complex, but it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Awesome. That sounds like a great challenge. I know I've been working with a company in the food industry for the past few years, and we were looking a lot at Uber Eats, like in terms of the whole experience. And I thought that was like, including the checkout process and everything, that was so well done and well thought that I really admired the work that you did there.
Yeah, thank you.
So in terms of product design, did you actually had product design experience kind of like before you came to Uber? Did you work on product
Great
design?
question. So not really. This is my first like official product design or UX role, which I understand how lucky I am to have that first experience in a company like Uber. I'm just learning so much every day. But I mean, honestly, most of the work in my portfolio when I applied was not product design work. I had a few product design projects that I had done in a freelance capacity. So while I was still at Atomic, I kind of had made this decision like, oh, I want to move more towards product design. How can I make that transition? And I hear this a lot actually from designers today who want to move from a more graphic or,
I think that's one of the most common things because nobody really teaches product design.
Yes.
So how do you learn that? How do you get the first job?
Yeah, that's really, really hard. And a lot of people struggle with that today. And I did too at the time because even though I went to design school, it was all focused on graphic design, making posters and laying out books, typography. So I didn't really get much exposure to the more UX digital side of design. So when I decided I wanted to kind of make this transition, I tried to learn as much as I could on my own. So I started reading books. I started following people online.
What, can you be specific? Can you like say what books did you read? Who did you follow? Just so because I think people can really benefit from this.
Yeah, who did I follow? Well, I mean, I started reading the New School a lot back then. That was, 4 years ago. So I was reading that blog a lot.
But that was more on kind of the freelancing side of things,
more of the
right?
freelancing side, but I think that helped give me the motivation to, seek more UX work on my own in a freelance capacity because I realized that I wasn't going to get that at my day job. So yeah, blogs like that. I can't think of any books right now. I'm going to have to dig through my
Goodreads. So I just want to, I heard something which I think is interesting. So you had your full-time job,
yes,
but you knew kind of like that you're aiming for your next job as a product designer. So you started just freelancing on the side, taking like UX projects or product design projects.
Yes, and I started going to conferences and workshops, just trying to expose myself as much as I could to that discipline of design. Some people are fortunate enough that they work at a company that, maybe there's a transition within the company that you can do that, or like you could start, raising your hand and saying, hey, I'm really interested in some product design stuff. Is there a place where I could help out or give it a go or like observe the product team? We've had a designer sit in some of our meetings who's interested in moving towards product design. So for them, they're just like learning about what it's like to be a product designer, getting a bit of exposure to the type of conversations we have. So if you're lucky enough to get that within your existing company, that's really awesome. But for me at the time, it was more I had to, be a bit more proactive and actively seek, online and out there.
So how did you find those freelance projects?
Yeah, I had some good connections and networks. And when I started basically saying, okay, well, I am a UX designer, then that attracted those kind of clients and those kind of projects.
Who did you say it to? Was it just like changing your title on social networks or stuff? Or did you actually Like,
Yeah, it was more like
how
on
did
my
that work?
website, like how I positioned myself, which
Okay.
I think is always a
Cool.
good place to start. Like your website should be the first place where people can go to
Yeah.
get an impression of you.
How you perceive yourself, is
Yeah.
how other people are going to see you.
Exactly. Like people should be able to go to your website and within 10 seconds understand what you do. So I really positioned my website towards UX design, product design. And then naturally, that helped to attract clients who were interested in working with me in those disciplines.
That's cool. So did you felt like I saw in your video, you show kind of the presentation that you had for the kind of the exercise that they gave you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought like this presentation was like amazing. It was so well thought. Like I would like, I probably, if I have to present a product design today, I probably don't do this as structured, and like this was really nice.
Well, it was
Actually,
a job interview, right? So you want to like put your best foot forward.
Yeah, but you know what? Like I also made the transition. I worked in branding for like in advertising for many years. Then I had and I switched from being a brand designer to being a product designer in a startup. That was kind of a very big transition.
Yeah.
Also my first no experience in real product design. And they did give me an exercise to do, like pretty similar to what you were having, but like I just did a couple of mock-ups and just presented to them live, not like in a structured, like, hey, here's the user story, here's their pain points, and that was like so professional. Did you learn to do that like on a blog post or something, or like how did you came up with that?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I just learned it from researching and trying to figure out, or learn what is the product design process and what are the different methodologies or little exercises that are common to do when you're doing this process. So like user stories, for example, journey map, and kind of tried to read up and learn about those and basically do that, but on a small scale, just for my little project that I did for Uber. So yeah, it was a lot of just reading and learning and trying to understand what is this process and how can I use this process in my application. So kind of trying to follow the steps linearly.
And you mentioned that, like, were they actually looking for a portfolio, or was it just because you've met the hiring manager and you got to know you and he trusted you, so he didn't need to see a portfolio?
Yeah, so actually what happened is I went in for a team interview, so an interview with the whole team, and I presented my portfolio in that interview, and that was a online portfolio. And
which included product design work?
Yes, it had like 2 product design freelance projects.
Okay.
And it was funny, actually. I think this is a good point to mention. I'll mention it. Is that I had about 6 projects in my portfolio, and only 2 were product design, and the rest was more marketing design. And I didn't actually include any of the work that I'd done at Atomic at the time, even though I had been there for 2 years. But a lot of the work that I did at Atomic was very marketing and communications focused. And so Uber basically asked, okay, like this is great, your portfolio is great, but what about your recent work, the work that you're doing at your current job? We don't see any of that in your portfolio. And I think they were a bit worried about that. But basically I told them my reasoning for not including it was that most of the work I was doing at Atomic was not the kind of work that I wanted to be doing. So I consciously decided not to include it, and therefore instead highlight on more what I thought I had strengths and skills in, which was the product design work that I had. So I think that, like, in general, the takeaway, what I'm trying to say there is that focus on presenting work that you're proud of and that represents the kind of work that you want to be doing. And I think that will help better position you for the role that you're trying to get. But your original question, sorry, that was a segue, was that...
No, that was super valuable and important. I think a lot of people are not like editing their portfolio to what they're aiming for. I think it's too generalistic with too many things.
Yes. Yeah, and less is more is also a good tip.
Right.
So yeah, I did this team interview showing my portfolio, and the feedback was that they were really, enthusiastic about me, but they were just a little bit unsure if I could really pull off product design because as I mentioned, I only had...
Was that before you did the exercise?
This was before.
You were also before the exercise?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, I only had 2 projects in there that represented product design. So they said that, yeah, they were enthusiastic, but they wanted to see a bit more. So that's when they put the exercise in front of me and said, we just want to see like how you would approach this, how you would solve this, and what your thinking process is like. So that's why they gave me the exercise. And yeah, in the end, I guess I impressed them because I got the job.
That's cool. So like in total, the whole interview, like the whole process was 2 interviews, one where you go over your portfolio and then the second one presenting your exercise?
Yeah, there was a couple of interviews before the team one where I had a few one-on-one interviews with the design manager and then also with one of the designers on the team. We kind of did like a whiteboard exercise in that interview and also walked through...
What is that? Like how does that go?
Like he gave me a scenario. It was related to Uber. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something about like, imagine this happens to the rider or whatever. How would you solve it? What would you do? So that was kind of like a half an hour whiteboard exercise where we kind of solved it together. We worked together on how we would do it. So yeah, that was fun, on the spot, but fun. But you got to be prepared for those situations, right? Where suddenly they could put something in front of you and, you got to put your best on.
Yeah. Did you prepare for it? Did you do like, I don't know, research or whatever? I don't know. Did you do preparation for an interview? I don't know.
I mean,
I never did anything like that, but
I did preparation in the sense that I, go into a quiet space, breathe calmly, prepare in advance what I'm going to wear, that kind of stuff. But not preparation in the sense of like practicing design exercises or anything. I think there's only so much you can do. Like in the end, you're going to be put on the spot. It's unpredictable. You just have to be yourself and do your best. And it's hard to prepare for that situation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else do you think, like, what do you think really contributed to the success? Like, I imagine they did see other people as well, maybe people who actually had a product design job, like proper one before. So like, from your perspective, like, why did that work? Like
I think,
was it personality thing? Was it because you got to know the person? Was it like you were really good at the interviews?
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about it?
I think that I got hired for potential. And this is something I'm a fan of as well when we are trying to hire for people is, does this person have potential? Do I see this person...
Potential for growth, for learning?
Yeah, like is there potential for this person to grow within the company or to learn within the company? Like maybe they're not a stellar top designer right now, but do they have potential to become that? And can we foster that in this company with them on our team? And I think that's what Uber saw in me, saw potential, motivation, and ambition, and that I was really, enthusiastic and ambitious, and it's something that I really wanted. And it was obvious because I had put in a lot of time and effort outside of the day job, to do this. So I think that's ultimately what the strength that I had was that, they saw potential in me.
Right. I think this is like so important because that in hiring, I don't know, when hiring, there's this saying like hire for attitude and train for skill or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think, I've interviewed a lot of designers myself and I see people, even people who are good, they just come to the interview and we're like, yeah, whatever. They're not trying. They're not showing you why they're really motivated to work at that place or grow or improve or something like that. They're just like, yeah, I'm looking for the next thing, which is like, okay.
Everyone is.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So you think that they saw that you were taking action, like freelancing projects and doing extra things and learning just to get this job. So they were like, she's really motivated and she's going to be like excellent. This is an excellent attitude to grow and become successful.
Yeah. I mean, to me, at the time, like it wasn't necessarily about the job. It was about the passion. Like, this is what I want to be doing every day because I love it and I enjoy it. It wasn't like, oh, well, I need a job or I'm looking for the next thing, like you said. It was more like, I have this passion and this energy and I need to put it somewhere, and I would love to put it at your company, basically. You know, it was more like that as opposed to, you know, being desperate for a job or something.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And now you're there for like a year and a half?
Yeah.
How long have you been there? Yeah. Do you feel like you've had this growth, or
Oh my
like
gosh,
what you've
yes.
imagined
Yeah.
from this job to do?
Yeah, I've learned so much, and you know, I'm really lucky to be on a team where we've had some of my team members have been at Uber for 4 years now, which is long for Uber years. So I feel really lucky that I get to work alongside people who have so much domain knowledge, and so like they're so skilled in certain areas that I feel like I'm working amongst some of the most talented designers in the world. So it's been a really, really awesome learning opportunity, and yeah, a great experience. Like, I just feel like I'm learning so much every day.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So first of all, I'm super happy to hear that, you know, this worked out for you.
Thank you.
But you're still doing a lot of like extra things.
Of course.
You know, you have the podcast. Now you've started the new YouTube channel. Can you share like a little bit what was the motivation for the new YouTube channel?
Yes. Okay. So the YouTube.
Besides reaching the 2,000 subscribers, which is important.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously. No. I mean, this YouTube channel honestly was 2 years in the making. I mean, I only.
You know what? Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah.
While I was doing like the research in my Gmail, like in my inbox,
Yeah.
I saw like I got an email from YouTube when you subscribed to my channel,
Oh, yeah.
like a few years ago, and it said there like that you had a channel. It's a different channel than your channel right now.
Yeah.
But it says like 50 videos, and then I clicked on it today and it was empty. What was it? What is that?
Oh, so that is my like personal Gmail channel that has embarrassing videos from my high school days on there. So there is nothing worth looking on that channel. And when I announced my new channel...
No, you've erased it.
Yeah, well, because when I
couldn't see
announced my
anything
new
there.
channel, people were searching my name and subscribing to the old one. So that's why I kind of hid everything. But you're not missing out. It
Okay.
was just terrible high school videos.
Sounds incredible.
But yeah, this new channel was 2 years in the making, even though I only spent about 2 months actually producing the first bits of content. I spent 2 years thinking about it, dreaming about it, wanting to do it. And
Why did it take you so long to to execute that?
I don't know. I think I had to just wait for reality to align with my mindset. Like, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to do this. But I just didn't know when that was going to be. I knew that I was going to do it. Like, it was 100% certain. But it was just a matter of, when I was actually going to do it. And I have to shout out to my friend Charlie, who, if people are watching your channel, they're probably watching hers as well.
They're subscribed to her.
Yeah.
She's huge.
Yeah, she is one of my best friends. I've known her for years, and we were living together when she started her channel, so I've really seen from day one her growth and how she's, been producing this amazing content online. So she's always been, trying to motivate and encourage me and been really supportive of me, finally joining the whole YouTube platform. And
because you were writing for a while, right? On Medium. Are you still writing?
If I have something to say, but not as consistently as I used to. I used to write every week, but it got a bit tough. And I don't know, I just, like we were talking about earlier, where if you want to get into product design, it's kind of hard to learn that on your own right now. And, when I was trying to do it, I couldn't really find any video resources online. There wasn't really anyone creating video content about this. So I don't know, after going through that myself and now having a bit of experience, I really want to be able to pass that on to the next, influx of people that want to switch to product design. So I didn't feel like there was enough people on YouTube teaching it, definitely not enough women teaching it. So I really felt like, hey, this is something I'm passionate about. I love teaching other people. I love design. I would love to help people learn more about product design and research and the product process. So I started my channel.
This is amazing. And how do you like, I'm asking this because a lot of people are asking me this, like, is this hard for you? Is it hard for you to shoot the videos, edit them? Like, or is it like, because for me personally, it's easy. It's natural. I just like, for me, writing blogs used to be very like painful. It took me a lot of effort, and just talking to a camera, it's just like easy. So how is it like, how's your experience?
Yeah.
Because I heard in your podcast that you were struggling, like, the edit is not perfect. Should I post this? Should I not post this?
Perfectionism. Yeah, like, it's hard. Perfectionism, that's a really hard one that I still struggle with, especially because I started creating videos like 2 months before I'm publishing them. So now I go back and see something I recorded 2 months ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so bad, because my skills have improved.
The videos posting now are stuff that you actually recorded like
a month or 2
months ago?
Yeah.
Why are you waiting so much before you post
Well, it wasn't intentional. I basically, before I published anything, I wanted to first see if I could actually make videos. So I spent a month recording and editing and learning. I actually did an online course to learn how to use Premiere Pro. So it was like a month or so of making videos but not publishing them. So now that I'm publishing...
Why not? Why not?
Well, because
why didn't you publish them?
I wasn't sure if I could commit to it, and I didn't want to do this whole like announcement, launch, like get people excited if I couldn't commit. So I really wanted to make sure that it was something that I was 100% dedicated to. And I can say that I am, because I'm still publishing and I'm still enjoying it. But yeah, I think like with my experience of recording the podcast, Charlie and I have done the Design Life podcast for 3 years, I think now, which is such a long time. That really helps in terms of me being able to speak more clearly, articulate myself, consider thoughts in my head and how I'm going to project them out loud in a short period of time. But the recording part, I'm still learning. I don't know much about film or cameras and all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely a work in progress. But I have intentionally not rushed out to buy all the latest fancy cool gear and light boxes and whatever. I'm just sticking with what I have for now. And, in time, I will definitely upgrade and invest a bit in the quality.
Honestly, it's so not important. People are so caught up with it.
I know.
I've shot my vlog every day on the same camera, like $500 camera, small Canon camera. And like, I just recently bought this new camera just because it can record like super long videos, so we can chat now and I don't have to like stop and restart it. Yeah. So that was the only reason. But gear, honestly, it depends on obviously on what type of content, but for kind of educational content or, just talking and advice, it doesn't really matter.
I think as long as you're delivering value, people are going to watch and listen, So I've tried not to get too hung up on the quality of it. And that's where I struggle with the perfectionism thing, because I am a bit of a perfectionist. So I need to remind myself, like, don't worry about it. Just focus on delivering the value, put it out there, have conversations with people, and, keep pushing forward, basically.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Great. I'm so super happy for you. I'm also like super happy for another channel and another woman and another like content about product design, which I think is still, as you said correctly, it's like underplayed or underserved. I think it's an underserved market.
Yeah, like if you search...
do you know MDS? Do you know Matt?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so I think he was speaking about doing a course on product design. He has a whole
somebody needs to. Yeah, somebody really needs to, because often when you type in product design, you actually get results for like physical product design, like designing chairs and things like that,
Right.
So there's still a whole wealth of opportunity there to, teach and educate more, provide more online learning for people who are interested in digital product design. So I'm hoping that my channel is just a small start, a small, drop in the ocean, but if I can just help a couple of people, then, I've achieved
Amazing.
what I've wanted to achieve.
So for the 3 people who did not subscribe to Femke's channel yet, and you want to become a product designer, then probably the first thing that you want to do is go subscribe to our channel, so that you can learn to become a better product designer, which is kind of like not the job of the future, it's the job of now.
Yeah.
And there's not enough good product designers. I can see this everywhere. Everybody like is looking for a product designer. Amazing companies, they're willing to pay great salaries, and there's just not enough people who understand not just how to make app mockups, but really think like you've showed like about the whole process, user journey. What does that mean? What are the
Yeah.
constraints? What are the trade-offs? And think about product this way. So this is a huge opportunity right now, and I'm excited for what you're doing.
Thanks. And yeah, being a product designer is fun, you know? So
It's so
if you're
fun.
looking
It's
for
so
a
fun. I
fun
love
job, then,
Yeah,
you know, I
definitely.
would definitely consider product design. I have so much fun every day, really. It's great.
Amazing. So now you're heading to Australia for a month?
Yes, yeah. Actually, later today, I'm flying to Australia and then after that to New Zealand to visit my family for a couple of weeks. So I'm going to be gone for a month.
It's like a vacation. Like you're not going to be working for a month.
I'm working remotely for 1 week, a little bit, but for the
Okay.
most part, it is vacation. So I don't know if you can see there's like snow outside my window here in Amsterdam.
Oh, I can see.
So
No, here it's like 20 degrees today.
right,
So
yeah.
amazing.
In Melbourne, I think it's like 35. It's a heat wave. So I'm
Yeah.
about
Oh,
to
wow.
go from
That's
like
nice.
-2 to warm summer.
Nice. So fun.
So cool.
That's great. That's great. That's one of the things that I think for me right now, as like somebody who owns his business, it will be very tough. Like I'm heading for a snowboard vacation
Nice.
in February, and I'm already stressed out about not being able to work, produce content, and do all these things for like a week.
Yeah.
But I guess you do need vacation from time to time. It's like super important.
You need the break because then you come
You
back
need the
feeling
break, yeah.
refreshed and re-energized. At least I always do. And you know, whenever you have a break, like I'm always still thinking in my head, like, oh, what's the next video going to be about, you know? And it's nice to ponder that a little bit while you're on the ski lift or whatever. So, you know, I think it's good to take those breaks and let your mind kind of process what you've done and what you want to do next, and then come back ready to go.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much for talking to me
Thank
today.
you.
And
I feel so
excited
honored to
like,
be on
yeah.
this amazing channel. Really, it's super cool. So thank you for having me.
So fun. Have a great flight today, later on today, and have a great vacation.
Thank you.
We'll stay in touch and we'll catch up later on.
Thanks
And
everyone
good luck
for
with your
watching.
channel.
Thanks.
Bye.